You are Locked On Lakers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The Lakers play short-handed, and at the same time, LeBron James and Anthony Davis step up as the Lakers survive with a 105-104 win over the Utah Jazz. We're talking about it all tonight as the Lakers needed a much needed win right there, and they got it in Utah. We mentioned the people over at FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 bonus on bets that you win. Don't forget, FanDuel is licensed with the NFL. At the same time, the Lakers back in action, and we needed this win. And we talk about it all the time. We say we on this show all the time because we're living and we're dying with Laker basketball. And for the Lakers, they needed this win bad because we know this team has not played well on the road and has not played great at home. So right now, looking at this Laker team as they head into the month of December and they try and figure out, what are they? What are they? What is their identity? And what can they do to possibly get better? This Laker team needs to figure things out. So tonight, things did look different. Things looked a lot different. And it wasn't exactly perfect for the Lakers, but they made the most of it. As you saw, there were people that weren't feeling well. There were people that are banged up a little bit. But the Lakers had a different lineup to start the game. And so for the people at the same time, when you look at this Laker team and you go, well, how deep is this bench? It's been one of the things people have questioned. This is the way it started out for the Lakers. Anthony Davis, Reeves, LeBron James, Dalton Connect, and then you had Gabe Vincent. And you wonder, why was there a change? What did Vincent do to get in the lineup? It wasn't because he gave them a spark. It's because they had no Austin Reeves. They had no D'Angelo Russell. And the Lakers are able to pull together. And that's what teams that are usually deeper teams are able to do. You put somebody in and you're able to provide basically a Band-Aid to get through. And for the Lakers, not only did they get a Band-Aid from Gabe Vincent, he actually stepped up with the big game. We'll get into all that as far as what the bench did as well. But a win is a win. And you can sit there and look at the Utah Jazz as one of the worst teams in the league and say, how do you barely survive? There are things the Lakers need to work on, but when you say win is a win, that's the way it goes. Whether you're taking care of the Boston Celtics or the Utah Jazz, some of them feel a little bit better as fans, but in the standings, what they need is they need wins. And the Lakers have taken care of business against teams that are below 500. It is one of those things where if you lost those games, you'd be more frustrated as a fan, but you know that they're 8-1 against teams that are below 500 are big. So looking at the Laker team, as we mentioned before, what that starting lineup was, first quarter, Lakers, they're outscored by the Utah Jazz 27-26, and it was frustrating because when you look at how it looked with your eyes and what it looked like on the scoreboard, it didn't make sense that the Jazz would have a 1-point lead. The Lakers actually played pretty well. Anthony Davis, and we were very, very critical as far as the way he was used in the last loss. He only had 9 shot attempts. Anthony Davis right away in the first quarter, 8 points. LeBron James, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists. Now, for LeBron, he hasn't looked like LeBron, and we were talking about this a lot in the last show of saying LeBron is a guy that, as a veteran, maybe one of the greatest of all time, that's for you to argue about. He's looked old, and he's looked tired, and he's turning the ball over. And when you're seeing a guy who turns the ball over a lot, you're wondering what is going on. Is it because it's too many minutes? Is it too many games in 1 week? We all know this Lakers schedule right now is only going to get worse. This is going to be one of the toughest weeks in the NBA season for the Lakers. But there was some concern because we all wonder, how long can LeBron do this? Again, this month, LeBron will turn 40 years old and still playing at a high level. Well, it's great to see LeBron come out and look like he did tonight. LeBron, again, in the first quarter, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists. Dalton Connect, he started cold and he finished cold. It was one of those where Dalton Connect wasn't going to be a guy that provided a spark, wasn't going to be a threat. Actually, it was a horrible night for Dalton Connect to have an off night because he had no Austin Reeves. He had no D'Angelo Russell. And all that does is it falls back on your superstars, the ones who we keep talking about trying to get minutes on the bench for, to give them a little bit of rest, that you can't do it. You needed every bit of Anthony Davis. You needed every bit of LeBron James. Here's the big plus for the Lakers was Max Christie. And I know the Lakers think the world of Max Christie. As fans, we keep thinking this is the year Max Christie is going to take a step forward and basically be one of the premier players on the team. There was a reason why he was a starter when the season started for J.J. Redick, because J.J. Redick saw something in him. LeBron James saw something in him. But Max Christie in the first quarter, 4 off the bench. And even though it was the only 4 the Lakers had off the bench, that's what the Lakers needed at the time. The Utah Jazz, on the other hand, they turned the ball over 6 times in the first quarter, yet they still finished with a 1-point lead. And so that's when I say it's not what your eyes basically told you. It should have told you that the Lakers doing what they're trying to do with their superstars, and you're getting plus play off the bench, that things should be going their way with the scoreboard, but it wasn't working that way. Again, Lakers outscored in the first quarter 27-26. In second quarter, the Lakers, they closed out on a 12-5 run. The Lakers played much better in the second quarter. They actually outscored the Utah Jazz 32-29, took a 58-56 lead into the half. And the Lakers bench in the half, Max Christie, he ended up with 9 points. But at the same time, the Utah Jazz bench, they outscored the Laker bench 17-9. So you can figure out the math right there that things weren't exactly going the Lakers' way with bench play, but it's all they had. They just have 4 guys that were unable to play that normally contribute. So it relied mostly on the starters to do their thing. Halftime, Anthony Davis, 15 points, 7 rebounds. Great. You're saying that's fantastic. Anthony Davis is active. Remember, Anthony Davis only had 15 points in the last game that the Lakers lost. Remember, he only had 9 shots. So the fact he had 15 at the half, it took him an entire game to get 15 in the last matchup. This was a good sign for the Lakers that they're moving in the right direction. As we spoke about, you got to get your superstars an opportunity to get the ball and to shoot. That's why they're out there. That's why they make the tremendous amount of money. That's why they're selling those jerseys. And for Anthony Davis, that was a good start. LeBron James, I liked his game tonight. And LeBron James, I know we'll get into his shooting and everything else, and he'll be the first to tell you his shot wasn't where it needed to be. But LeBron James looked like, as I like to call it, a Magic Johnson type game, where he was distributing the ball, yet he was scoring points when he had the opportunity. 13 points, 3 boards, 9 assists at the half. Gabe Vincent, again, was fantastic from the field, 3 of 3, including 2 3-pointers. So for the Lakers, they were playing well-rounded, and at the same time looked like they were getting better as guys were getting used to, this is what we have tonight, this is what we are, and this is what we're going to do to move forward and hopefully pull out a win. For the Lakers, again, in the first half, they shot 47% from the field, 31% from three-point range, 83% from the free throw line. The three-point shots are always a little disappointing when you see that percentage. A lot of that had to do with Dalton Knecht just not finding his stroke. At the same time, LeBron James, he had trouble with the threes as well. And Jazz, on the other hand, they shot 51% from the field, 38% from behind the arc, and 43% from the free throw line, 3 of 7. Not good at all. I mean, that you can't win basketball games that way. And good for the Lakers. Think about how many free throws it is that they missed. So the Lakers going into the third quarter, they outscored the Jazz 28-25, so that's good. We now had 2 back-to-back quarters where the Lakers won those quarters, and you're thinking you're headed on your way to a victory. Anthony Davis at this point had 16 points in the third quarter by himself to give him 31. LeBron, 4 points, 4 assists. Dalton Knecht continued to struggle. 2 of 9 shooting up to that point. So you're getting your superstars continuing to carry you. Dalton Knecht unable to find his shot in Utah. And in the fourth quarter, as everyone always remembers how the game ends, fourth quarter, Lakers had to hold on. And it's very scary. Lakers actually outscored in the fourth quarter 23-19, only able to get 19 points in the fourth quarter. Couple things that were unusual to me as far as the way things worked out for the Lakers right there in the fourth quarter was the Lakers were going through a situation where they're getting a ton of rebounds, but there's rebounds from their own shots. So the stat that everyone always likes to talk about is, what about second chance points? Well, the Lakers are getting long rebounds and they're shooting wide open threes, and it bounces right back. And it's to Anthony Davis, it's to Rui, it's to LeBron James. And at the same time, you aren't getting the points, but also at the same time, it's demoralizing to the Utah Jazz. If you just watch the crowd at that point in Utah and you're watching the crowd lose their mind going, we can't get the ball. But yet we continued to watch the Lakers shoot and run the clock down and shoot and run the clock down, shoot and run the clock down. It wasn't a complete disaster. At the same time, I wouldn't have called a timeout there. JJ Redick, for some reason, said enough's enough, and he calls timeout. And he calls timeout, and what it does is it gives to me, not the Lakers, an opportunity to regroup for a good shot, because the Lakers were getting good shots. They weren't falling. What it does, it gave the Utah Jazz a chance to pull themselves together. I didn't like the timeout of that situation, and because of that timeout, I think that timeout was one of those that looking back at it, you regret taking, because all it did was add a spark to Utah Jazz, who then proceeded to go on a run and hurt the Lakers at the same time. We'll talk more about the Lakers and, of course, LBJ and what do they do as far as moving forward. But overall, the Lakers, they win tonight 105-104. This episode is sponsored by and brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA and get on your way to being your best self. So many people have tried therapy and they realize it is really one of the best things they could have done. It's basically, as people say, it's a checkup on yourself. And if you're willing to go out, as my friend tells me, who has tried therapy for the first time and says, you know what, Dave, I'm a completely different person. I used to go to the dentist twice a year to make sure my teeth were okay. But what about me? Mentally, where am I at? You know, and my friends tell me and check on me all the time and say, are you okay? Are things going all right for you? If you have benefited from therapy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's helpful. It's a positive experience. Coping skills can teach you boundaries. It also empowers you to be the best version of yourself. Who doesn't want to do that? It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. Look, a lot of people need help. You shouldn't be afraid to ask for it. And that's why BetterHelp is great for you. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Don't forget, visit BetterHelp at betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA today. Get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA. BetterHelp could be the best decision you ever made, and you don't know exactly where you stand, but give the people at BetterHelp an opportunity to get you back on track. So I want to hear from you as far as the Lakers winning 105-104. Do you feel good about this win? Are you upset about, hey, you know, win's a win, you can say it all you want, but we aren't getting any style points. And for the Lakers, they have a lot more work to do. Curious to know what you think about the Lakers and moving forward. Right now, when you look at LeBron James and everything he did, I think we were concerned that LeBron James had 4 straight games where he wasn't able to score even 20 points. LeBron James, as we mentioned right there at the beginning, 27 points tonight, 14 assists, and 5 rebounds. That's what he finished with tonight. I'm happy with that game. LeBron James was quick to say after the game, his shooting wasn't there, but, you know, I got to keep firing him up. That's what he does. He was 12 of 28 from the field, 0 of 9 from three-point range. Look, I like the LeBron James that is able to distribute the ball. I think he likes being the guy that's able to distribute the ball. There's a difference of LeBron's game compared to so many other superstars that we've seen in this league. The guys, when we talk about that GOAT conversation, I grew up in the 80s watching Magic Johnson. He was my favorite athlete of all time, but I was also able to appreciate what Kobe Bryant did. Kobe Bryant was a killer, and he was a whole nother level where Kobe Bryant was a killer. And I think a lot of people have watched LeBron James, and it doesn't matter if he's with the Lakers, if he's with the Cavs, if he's with the Heat. People want to know, is LeBron James have that same intensity? Because he looks like a guy throughout his entire career could have taken over a game whenever he wanted. And we've seen him be that guy, but he's not consistently that killer guy. And it's an insult to him, but I like playing with guys when I played, and I never played at this kind of high of a level, but I like guys who get their teammates involved. I'm a team guy. And so when I look at Magic Johnson, I look at LeBron James and what they can do distributing the ball, and as good as they are, and you can get in LeBron James turnovers and how frustrating they are. Again, he had 3 more tonight. I like guys that distribute the ball, and I know guys like playing with people like that. So one of the criticisms about this Laker team and why they haven't gone far is that you have 2 superstars in Anthony Davis and LeBron James, Hall of Famers, but a lot of times it feels like it is just those 2 guys. Even off the floor, when you're watching the stoppage in gameplay and you're watching those 2 guys communicating like the other 3 guys on the floor aren't important, LeBron James is a guy that I think this year has made a different effort to bring everybody in, and I think it will take the team a little bit further. Anthony Davis, tremendous player as well. We all know what Anthony Davis is, but when you're big, you can be selfish. When you're LeBron James, you can be selfish as well, but I think he likes this game better. I think he would rather have a game like this of 27-14 than, let's say, 37-3, meaning 3 assists. And so for Laker fans, if things work the right way, I think this team could go much further. Remember, in 2020, and you could talk about shortened season, bubble, all that stuff, LeBron James was basically the point guard on that team. He was the guy that brought the ball up the floor, and he ran everything through that position, and it kind of was Magic Johnson basketball. And at the same time, as much as, if you're one of those people, because I hear it all the time from Laker fans, LeBron James, he's a Laker, but he's not a Laker. I think that's unfair. LeBron James, now with 7 years with this franchise, LeBron James is a Laker. He's getting his number retired right there next to Kobe's and next to Magic's. And if it's not 23 and 6, it's going to be just 23. He's getting a number retired, and he'll end up with a statue and all that stuff. Embrace him. Because when you watch LeBron and you appreciate his game, forget about just the age thing. Look at how he takes care of himself. How many times do you wish you had an athlete that was on your team that I wish that guy would take care of his body? LeBron is all about being a professional, taking care of his body, represents himself, the organization, and the NBA perfectly. When's the last time you saw LeBron James ever do anything that the NBA or the team he played for was embarrassed by his off-the-field actions? Never happens. But going back to 2020, I will say LeBron James is as good of a passer as anybody I've seen. And that goes for, God forbid, Magic Johnson, who's my favorite of all time. So LeBron had the big game off the bench. Guys, it was tough. It was tough. 16 points the Lakers finished with total, and 12 of those 16 came from Max Christie. On the bright side of things, Max Christie, 30 minutes tonight. It's a lot. 12 points. Lakers will take it. He made 8 of 10 free throws, which is funny because he's an 80% free throw shooter. That actually equals exactly 80% for him. But Max Christie was a guy, hopefully builds his confidence. Also is a person that JJ Redick down the line can say we could rely on him for more minutes, more points, much more of a spark, something to add to D'Angelo Russell. Lakers win 105-104, and that's the most important thing tonight. And moving forward, what are the Lakers going to do? Overall, I enjoyed it very much. Lakers, again, defensively, this is not a great defensive team. What do the Lakers have to do defensively? Lakers shooting from three-point range. What do they have to do to fix that? I think you can fix the defense. The defense, to me, is nothing but effort. And coaches will tell you all the time, and fans will say it too, hey, I just don't want to have to see guys give more effort. And if they're more concerned about the offensive side of the ball and they aren't concerned about their defensive effort, then you have an issue. Championship teams, they win on defense. And for the Lakers, that has to change at some point. We all saw how good Oklahoma City was a couple days ago with their defense, the amount of turnovers, points in transition. We saw that from the Lakers today. Points in transition at the beginning. When we were able to make Utah, who is known for turning the ball over a ton, and get points off of it, easy baskets, it seems simple, right? So for the Lakers moving in that direction, they got it down, create a turnover, score. Simple as can be. You have mismatches. For the Lakers on the other side, defensively, they got to switch the scales. The scale has to be moved a little bit. The Lakers have to be a better defensive team than what they're showing right now. They're still in the bottom 10 in the league, and they got to move to the upper half of the league defensively if this team wants to go far and have a chance. So looking at what the Lakers are doing moving forward, the Lakers have another game coming up tomorrow. They play Minnesota, and we'll talk about the Wolves as well in a little bit. But right now, looking at what the Lakers have and JJ Redick, do you like what you see? Do you like right now what you see? Again, I see Android Andre says, look, 8-1 against teams below 500. That's exactly what I said. You're taking care of business. I mean, what can you do? You don't make the schedule out. At the same time, you take care of business against the teams that are below 500. It would be nice to consistently win against the teams that are above 500. The teams you're actually going to see in the postseason, the teams that you have to take care of business with when you're trying to win that championship and advance throughout the playoffs. So overall, we got to see what the Lakers can do. When will that change? It's only December. For me, I always say the season really doesn't start till, after Christmas. But I think guys who are vets in this league will say the season doesn't start till after the All-Star break. I just want to see momentum going forward. All right. And as much as I hate the Boston Celtics and I hate those teams in the East, I look at those teams and it seems like they know what they're doing. They already have their identity. They know exactly what they have. Not a lot of turnover on those teams. At the same time, we have young guys and we have guys that are trying to figure out their place in the lineup. JJ Redick, a new coach, is trying to figure out what he has to deal with. And we bring this up every single show with Rob Pelinka, as far as Rob Pelinka saying December is when he would consider making trades 6 weeks into the season. Well, we're almost to that point right now. Do we see trades? Who would you like to see this team bring in possibly to make them better? Do they need bigger guys? Yes, we need a big guy. We need someone to protect the paint, but also at the same time, do we need a traditional point guard? We'll talk more about that in a little bit as well, as far as what does this team need? Do they need someone that can look more like a traditional basketball team and not the team where, as we say all the time, you have, 5 guys that can take the ball up the floor and distribute the ball. But at the same time, do we need that traditional point guard, someone who is your natural distributor, someone who is a better 3-point shooter? Curious to know in your comments, what would you like to see there as well? Want to mention the people over at FanDuel. Look, FanDuel, we say it all the time. FanDuel is that place, man. If you have that hunch and you're thinking, you know what, there's a lot going on, I have a feeling something is going to go my way on Sunday night, or it's going to go my way with Monday Night Football. You never know when that can happen. We had a great weekend of football this entire weekend, going all the way from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'm sure there are plenty of you who said, man, I had a hunch. I knew that was going to happen. I knew Michigan was going to pull that upset. I knew Alabama was going to cover, just in college football. But then at the same time, the Bills at home, it's snowing. 49ers have struggled the whole year. What's the best way to go right now? Don't forget, get ready to tackle the NFL season. FanDuel's America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel Sportsbook, the app, can give you everything you need to place bets in one place. Right there, it's that simple. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment or more count with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, so the Lakers, as far as who you want to see come in, who do you want to see possibly help this team out? We have people say, we got Trae Young out there. He's a 3-point shooter, can make us free throws, the whole deal. But also, at the same point, do they need to make a move? Does Rob Pelinka need right now to make a move? Does he need to change things up on this team? Do you like what you see? Maybe at the same time, you just kind of juggle the pieces a little bit. He's already done that already, meaning J.J. Redick. He's already taken Max Christie out of the starting lineup. He took Dalton Connect out of the starting lineup, took Cam Reddish out of the starting lineup. Rui missed time because of injury. But right now, are the Lakers at their best with what they have in their starting 5? Or are the Lakers in a situation where they'd be better off by moving things around? As I've said before, that Dalton Connect is a guy that I would leave in the starting lineup. And the reason is nobody, obviously comes into this league as a bench player, but they're taught to be bench players. Dalton Connect's one of those guys that is so good as being a starter because he's always been a starter. Becoming a bench player for Dalton Connect would be a guy, to me, in a position where you don't see him as a future all-star. And for Dalton Connect being a starter his entire time through high school, through college, and now in the NBA, leave him where he's at. Let Dalton Connect be a starter. Let Dalton Connect be that guy that can not only be a starter for this team, but also hopefully an all-star for this team in the future. He's already one of the top rookies in the league. Leave him where he's at. So if you leave Dalton Connect where he's at, he's a starter. And you have LeBron James as a starter. Anthony Davis is a starter. So what do you do to strengthen that bench? What would you do to change things up? Rui, I think, is a starter. Some people are saying you got to change Rui out. I think Rui honestly would crush his confidence. He's one of those veterans that came here in a trade, loves being here, wears number 28 for a reason, and he loves Kobe and he loves the organization. He loves Jeannie Buss, says all the right things, does all the right things. He's the ultimate pro's pro. I would leave Rui where he is. D'Angelo Russell, yeah, it might have hurt a little bit to say you're going to go to the bench and add a spark. But what about this move? What about D'Angelo Russell back into the starting lineup? What about Austin Reeves is the one that goes to the bench, and he becomes that spark for you off the bench? We've seen Austin Reeves come off the bench in the past. We've seen Austin Reeves have success. Austin Reeves isn't your traditional point guard, right? D'Angelo Russell is. D'Angelo Russell doesn't turn the ball over. D'Angelo Russell obviously doesn't hit the 3-point shots consistently like we want, but the more he plays and the better he looks, and he's looked good in the last week, D'Angelo Russell is a guy that I say if you're going to play with the starting lineup at all, that's the move I would make. I'd move D'Angelo back to a starting spot, and Austin Reeves, when healthy, I'd move him back to the bench and use that as a spark to come into the game with a guy like Max Christie. Spread the floor a little bit. LeBron James can play with anybody. Anthony Davis can play with anybody. Rui can play with anybody. but you got to figure out a way to get the guys who can score points the ball and give them more wide open shots. It feels like the Lakers often are getting contested shots just all over the place. And it's never an easy shot. I mean, very, very infrequently do you see guys get a wide open three unless the defense completely breaks down, somebody falls down, transition points. But overall, it's a lot. So for the Lakers, before they make a trade, I'd play with that starting lineup. This is a great week to do it, by the way, too, because you're playing so many games in 1 week that if I was the Lakers, this is a great week to change it up. D'Angelo Russell, of course, used to play for Minnesota. That's who the Lakers will play on Monday. And maybe there's the time that you possibly do it. Do you possibly go and you make that move right there and say, D'Angelo, we're going to start you in this game? We don't know where Austin Reeves is going to be health-wise either. So as I speak out and say, what kind of spark would he be off the bench? Austin Reeves, we don't know what his health is going to be like tomorrow. As we know, we had 4 guys who were banged up. We don't know what it's going to be like. They got to get on an airplane, travel to Minnesota for the game against the Wolves. Right now, looking at the standings, and there are a couple games still going on right now. Thunder, they lost. So the Thunder, they're still the number 1 seed at 15-5. Rockets still behind them at 15-6. Rockets continue to win. I would keep telling everyone I don't believe in the Rockets, but they've won 3 straight. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Memphis Grizzlies, 14-7, have won 6 straight games. Right now, the Grizzlies are the hottest team in the West, playing great basketball. Warriors 12-7. The Lakers right now are the number 5 seed at 12-8. Again, you listen to the postcast on Locked On Sports, and you hear me say all the time, I want to see the Lakers get to that 4 spot. The Lakers have to be in the top 4 going into the Western Conference playoffs. Round it out for you. Mavericks are 6, Nuggets are 7, Phoenix is 8, Clippers 9, and San Antonio is 10. So where does that leave Minnesota? You didn't hear me mention Minnesota at all. Minnesota right now is not playing up to the level of basketball their fans expected. People in Minnesota thought this is where Minnesota makes a run for their first ever NBA title, meaning the Minnesota Timberwolves. And right now they're 9-10. They are not playing great basketball. 3-7 in their last 10 games for the Lakers. It's a great opportunity for the Lakers to take on the Wolves. The Lakers have not looked like, the Wolves have not looked like what the fans were expecting. I think a lot of people thought when Julius Randle came over, it makes that team even that much stronger. But right now they are struggling, and not the team that people in Minnesota thought they were going to be. So that's tough on the Wolves as well. So for the Lakers, again, Minnesota is not playing back-to-back games. The Lakers back-to-back road games. That's always tough in this league. At the same time, tip my hat to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Last time they had back-to-back games, neither one of them sat out. They all understood the importance of getting a win and starting momentum. And so when you always get scared with the whole load management or different injuries that might hurt a little bit more than others, Anthony Davis and LeBron, they did it against San Antonio, and they played, to me, their best game of the year. And tomorrow night, hopefully they're both in the starting lineup, and they continue to put back-to-back road wins together. Because right now this team is 5-5 on the road. Let's get on the winning side of things as far as having a winning record would be very, very big for the Lakers moving forward. So for the Lakers, another good win. I'll say it, 105-104. I'm happy with it. Some people are saying, look, this is not a good team. Let's be patient. We're only basically about 20 games into this thing. So let's be patient where the Lakers are at before we sit there and say it's not a good team. It's not a championship team. I think we all know as diehard Laker fans, we all know what it looks like when it's a championship team, right? Back in the day, you go, this is a 60-win team. So 60 wins gives you a chance to win a championship. Right now, this Laker team is not playing 60-win basketball. And there's a lot to do to fix it. And I think it starts with defense, and it starts to fix it with your three-point shooting. And the only way you're going to fix your three-point shooting, honestly, is going to be through a trade. You aren't going to wake up tomorrow morning and all of a sudden the guys who can't shoot threes are making threes on a consistent basis. It doesn't work that way. Our shooters are shooters. We have what we have, and it has been this way for a long, long time. So we'll see how things go working out for the Lakers tomorrow night against the Wolves. We kind of get an idea of what the identity is, as we say this all the time, right? What is their identity? Team 7-3 at home, 5-5 on the road. We'll see where they're at, but it was nice to see LeBron James break that streak of 4 straight games under 20 points. There were some positives there. Anthony Davis got him the ball. Anthony Davis was active. Anthony Davis provided the spark. That's what superstars do. So I can't say enough about how happy I am with the superstars, and that's what you expect. There's a reason why people buy the jerseys, buy the tickets to see what the superstars are going to do. Very, very pleased with that. Don't forget, Locked On Lakers Daily Podcast with Brian and Andy. Those guys do a great job. Give those guys a listen. I will be back with you for the Lakers postcast. Again, Locked On Los Angeles, Locked On Lakers postcast with me, Dave Palais. Tomorrow night, Lakers tip-off against the Minnesota Timberwolves at 5 o'clock. I'll say Monday night, just so everyone knows, in case you aren't watching the show live, that Monday night, 5 o'clock, they tip off live from Minnesota. A chance for the Lakers to put back-to-back wins together. Appreciate everybody, again, with the chats. I'm read every single one of them. And at the same time, we'll get those on the air. If you guys have a comment, have a suggestion, I'm always happy to read those and put those on the air as well. But Lakers win 105-104 of the Utah Jazz, and they hold on to win. If we were Jazz fans, we'd be upset with our head coach for taking away Colin Sexton's game-winning layup, but that's not what happened. The Lakers end up winning, and the final stats show at 105-104 to improve on the road. We'll see you tomorrow night, Monday night after the Minnesota game. Thanks again for listening. Thanks for rooting on the Lakers. Again, Locked On Lakers postcast. I'm Dave Palais. You can follow me through social media right there in the corner at Dave Palais. Take care, everybody.